I will announce that those attending tonight's meeting should be aware that the meeting is being audio and video recorded for ASRSD. Any audience members who wish to record any part of the meeting must inform the chair, who will announce the recording. This is to comply with the Mass Wiretap statute. The listing of matters are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. Is there any public participation this evening? Mary, I think, yes, I was going to say we have
yes, we do have Liam Gleason, who was our high school representative throughout this school year. And as you know, the seniors had their last day last Thursday, and we celebrated their last day with a wonderful parade. And I'm going to introduce Liam to do his final report to the school committee this evening. So Liam, please provide us your report, and welcome. And thank you, Liam, for waiting. We're sorry we're late.
Well, this is certainly not the way I envisioned giving my final report this evening, but nonetheless, this is the situation I'm in, and I'll do this to the best of my ability. So that is correct. We have finished up our senior year. I know that there's probably a few days left for the other grades still going on right now. We had a wonderful parade on Thursday where most of the senior in class in close to its entirety was at Crony Park and Air, and then we went through Air and Shirley, both the towns of the region, which was nice, and everyone was able to see a very large amount of people outside, and they were all waving and with the masks on, staying safe and cheering everyone on. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that.
He might have graduated, but mom's still embarrassing him.
Sorry.
I'm sorry about that. So we're all getting adjusted here to all this. I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
So like I was saying, we had a wonderful day on Thursday, and it was very nice to see everybody again. Certain people I hadn't seen in months, and I was able to, from a safe distance, be able to see them and converse with them, and I was very happy with that. And we got a lot of positive feedback from the other students as well. They all seemed to really enjoy that particular ceremony, and they all thought, oh, this is the perfect way to go out in the year. It wasn't how we envisioned it, but that was what we were doing. And pretty much everyone that I know is planning on continuing their education in some form or another after college. After high school. And that it's very wonderful to hear everyone's set there. And I would just like to say thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this process.
All right, I won't cook dinner.
And I appreciated my time as the student representative to, or the student body representative to the school committee. And I am hoping that everyone has a very safe and wonderful summer and future school season. And hopefully I'll be able to come back and visit from Berklee College of Music in Boston. They have a train that will be able to bring me back home safely in a very fast manner. And on behalf of the senior class, we'd just like to say thank you for everything you've done, especially for us in this time, because this has been a very difficult period for all of us, and all the seniors who are really looking forward to being able to spend the end of the year together with each other. But we're hoping July 31st is able to stay the same, because that's the day that we're supposed to have some sort of in-person graduation. So July 31st is our hope. And
Liam?
I believe that's all I have to say.
Liam, I can guarantee you on July 31st. We sent that date out, and that date is firm.
Perfect. I'm very happy to hear that. And so I'm looking very forward I'm super excited for that day. I'll just say that. I'm super excited because that's the day that we're all looking forward to right now, is being able to have some sort of interaction as a class one more time before we all go our separate
It
ways.
may not be as the whole class though, due to the
That
restrictions
is fair.
imposed by Department of Public Health and such. But I'm glad that we waited and we didn't make decisions in haste, going right to a virtual graduation or other decisions. We waited for things to unfold and further guidance to come out, and we did it to meet what we knew from students was we need and we want a graduation. So thank you so much for all you've done for the school district through the years. You and your senior classmates, you're quite a talented class, and your school spirit and your dedication and loyalty. I could get filled up talking to you, Liam, and the whole class really, because I've known you since you were in 6th grade now.
That's right.
All
And that long. I'm old now.
well,
Over the hill.
No, just from that,
Being a
6th grade is you're still a kid. Now I'm an adult.
So I'll defer to any of the other committee members with any comments.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Liam, thank you so much. We enjoyed all your input about what's been going on at the school over the course of the last year. I'm glad you were able to join us as our representative this year. You're certainly insightful and gave us a good perspective on what was going on, and you're a good person to do it because I know you're involved, and the school will miss you. But we wish you all the best at Berkeley and know you're going to be a huge success. So thanks again.
Yes, thank you.
Very much.
I do have to say it was super fun to watch all of with you and your classmates going through the parade. Now I know how many parents or kids own cars with the skylights.
Yeah.
All the kids were out of the skylights, and I was thinking how reasonable how wonderful the police in both towns were to help out with this whole thing, but also to ignore the fact that you guys weren't strapped in.
Yeah, I was outside of mine, and I drove right. I was a few feet away from one of the police officers, and I was already getting down and everything, and then they said congratulations. I was like, all right.
That was awesome. And I did want to, make a shout out to Louisa. What was her last name?
Vieira. Louisa Vieira.
With all the baskets that were put together for the seniors. I know we had a great time putting together a couple of baskets, but to see them all lined up out on Peroni Park, it was just so nice, and all the smiles and the cheers, and it was wonderful. So I'm glad you guys got that, and I look forward to July 31st as well.
Thank you. Jonathan, did you want to?
No, I think everyone pretty much took what I wanted to say, but no.
I saw you unmuted, that's why.
Oh, no, everything. I appreciate, Liam, what you contributed to the school district. I remember when I first got on school committee, you were standing outside the middle school encouraging people to vote.
Right.
So, vote yes for the school budget, and, it's great to see you getting involved and anyone your age getting involved. And so thank you for setting that example, and thank you for, you and your class, for everything. And truly it was a great time to watch the parade, seeing the smiles on everyone's faces, including your parents, yours certainly, but all the parents excited and enjoying the parade. I've already said to certain people that it should be a yearly tradition, because I think it's a great way for our communities to see the kids and have a little bit of fun in a controlled manner and see, have the communities come out and support those kids. So, and with the senior baskets too, same thing. I couldn't even get one fast enough. So it was great to see community rallying around and doing something fun. So, sometimes we lose sight of our school kids, and this is a great way, sadly, great way to bring them back together and show what our kids have done and stuff. So congratulations, and enjoy.
Madam Chair, one final note. Liam,
Sure.
enjoy, and so June 5th, this Friday, would have been the graduation day. So
Yes.
we planned for the seniors to come to the high school. So there's a couple of surprises on Friday as well. Unfortunately, I can't be there to see all the seniors because we have negotiations. But all your teachers will be there, of course. And so I hope that the seniors enjoy the special day that's planned for you on Friday as well. And this isn't our final goodbye because we have July 31st coming up as well. So enjoy, and I hope to see some pictures of Friday when you do your pickup. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Liam.
Michelle, if
Have
I may.
dinner.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead, Mr. Cleary.
Thank you. Liam, I just wanted to say, well, you were one of the first students that I met in the district when I had come to Air Shirley. So you were part of that interview committee for the hiring of our current principal, Mr. Christie.
That's right.
And you made such an impression on me during that whole process of one of two students on a panel of essentially all adults, and how mature you were. The questions that you asked were very insightful. And you always brought a nice little piece of sense of humor with you. And I've seen that through with you for the past times that I've seen you. Every time I've seen you, it's always a nice, pleasant, and cordial hello. And there's always something humorous to share. You always make me smile and make me laugh. And so I appreciate all of that. It's been really a pleasure to get to know you. And I couldn't have asked for meeting a better representative of the Air Shirley community to kind of welcome me into this community. So thank you. And I do wish you the best of luck. I'm sure I'll see you at graduation as well. But I did want to say thank you for all the work that you've done this year.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Liam. No crying.
All right, Liam, I think your mother's making dinner.
Yeah.
Isn't she?
I can hear and
For them.
Oh, for them. Well, we can't feed it to them.
Boys need to eat.
For us, yeah.
All right, well, enjoy your dinner.
Enjoy. Thank you, Liam.
Thank you.
Liam.
Bye,
Thank you.
Liam.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so we will move on to our consent agenda, which tonight includes the approval of the May 20th, 2020 regular session minutes for release, as well as a warrant memo that is dated May 28th, 2020. That includes accounts payable warrant 1153 dated May 15th, 2020 for $237,315.66, which is the biweekly AP warrant. It also includes payroll warrant 24 dated May 22nd, 2020 for $678,478.53, which is for fiscal year 20 biweekly payroll, and payroll warrant 24.1 dated May 22nd, 2020 for $129,931, which is for Schedule C coaches and stipends. Anyone want to make a motion?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
The C stipends, were they prorated, or is that the regular amount?
Schedule C was either prorated, paid out in full because it was completed, or the spring was paid out if they continued to work with the students. So it was
Okay, and
a combination of three different options.
okay, thank you.
There we go.
I'll make a motion that we approve tonight's consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any other further discussion? Hearing none, we're gonna do roll call votes during remote meetings. So Michelle, will you call the roll?
Mr. DeForge,
Aye.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone,
Aye.
Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reschutz,
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. If the committee does not mind, since we ran late, and I was wondering if we could move up Mr. Parker to right now before new business. Does anyone have any objection to that?
No,
Nope.
good.
All right. So joining us this evening is Mr. Don Parker, who you will remember at our meeting in May. We voted to dedicate the Air Shirley Regional High School Media Center to Mr. Parker. So Dr. Malone, do you want to introduce Mr. Parker?
Sure. Mr. Parker, can you hear us? Yeah, I think you're muted. You have to, at the bottom of the screen, there is a mute button and it has a red line going through it, which means your audio is not working because you have yourself muted. So if you could click on it, it'll open up the mic for you. Oh, I can see it. Can you hear us? Mr. Parker? Mike, can you, would you have him muted?
Hi, hello everyone. I actually just
Oh.
muted him.
Mr. Parker? Well, maybe the computer that they're using doesn't.
I can have Sierra go over to his house on her bicycle.
It's raining, Jim. Don't do that to the poor girl.
Only rating.
I want to welcome Mr. Parker, and I'm sure his family is with him, maybe Mrs. Parker, to tonight's meeting. We wanted to, on behalf of the committee, I think the committee wanted to personally congratulate Mr. Parker on the unanimous vote to dedicate the media center to Mr. John Parker, who was in the district for approximately 44 years. When, after the committee voted to dedicate the media center, or used to be known as the pod, to Mr. Parker, I wanted to reach him immediately the next day. We have a weekly faculty meeting, and I wanted to announce it to Mr. Parker while I had the faculty, but the faculty meeting ended and Mr. Parker called me 2 minutes later. So I spent about an hour talking with him on that day, and he talked to me and all about his career in the district, and he was also on the school committee in Shirley, and he was part of the whole regionalization and worked hard to regionalize the districts. So he's had not only a hand as a strong and wonderful leader in the district, but he also was a force in forging the regionalization of Air and Shirley into the Air Shirley Regional School District. I also spoke to Mr. Parker about, we're ready to, we can meet face to face, that we would hold a dedication of the media center to Mr. Parker. So we had a great conversation, talked about some of the people that he hired that are still here in the district, and about his principalship, and he is one of the longest serving principals in the Commonwealth. And I think he told me 43 years, and then 1 year was as acting. So I hope I have that right, Mr. Parker, and as far as the exact number of years, and I'll defer to the school committee to make any comments that you would like to make.
Did he talk about any of his favorite students, perhaps?
No, Jim.
He talked about one student in particular who he had to have after school for detention.
Oh.
No, it was interesting to hear the history and about the students that he did. Yeah, he's had a lot of students for sure. Hello, Mrs. Quinty. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. So we're looking forward to bringing him to the high school and making the formal dedication, and actually, if I may, at last week the high school had. I'm going to go to my supers comments. When you see me looking one way or the other, I'm either taking notes or. So while we have Mr. Parker on the phone, present with us, I was announcing the Don Parker Award recipients. If you recall, quite a few years ago, the committee established the Don Parker scholarship for students, and it's given in his in his memory, if you will, or service to the district. And the award is given out to juniors. And part of what the juniors receive is a letter that the school committee will write that they can use as their application process to college. So this year we had, I think they had 7 recipients. So these are all juniors. The recipients are Grace Audette, Jared Cherico, Sean Doyle, Jamie Kozakowski, Rosalind Lupasic, Danielle Martinez, and Kara O'Neill. So 7 students were nominated to receive that award, and congratulations to those students. And I'll again turn it over back to the school committee.
Anyone have any other comments? I also would like to just echo everyone and congratulate you, Mr. Parker. This is certainly a well-deserved recognition. I understand that your office was right outside the media center. So it'll be a fitting place for your name to be displayed in perpetuity. And we thank you for your service, and this recognition is well-deserved.
Agreed. Thank you, Mr. Parker. Awesome. You are missed at the high school.
The history, again, he must not, he has access to speak, but sometimes maybe the computer device doesn't have the speaker. But I believe that he was responsible for creating that pod for students at the high school. He developed that social piece for them.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so fitting for that that area of the high school to be dedicated to Mr. Parker and all that he has done for the school district and now as a regional school district.
Great. Thank you again, Mr. Parker. Hopefully you could hear everything we were saying. All right.
It was always great to talk to.
We have a chat. In the chat, it says thank you for Mr. Parker. So thank you.
Great.
Okay.
All right. So then we will move on to item 9, new business. Adopt Eureka Math Program for K through 5. Mr. Caleri.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger. Mr. Tebow, do you have my presentation?
I do, Mr. Clary. Let me find it and I will pull it up for you.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
So while we're waiting for the presentation to begin, as the school committee knows, the school committee needs to approve when we adopt new curriculum. And you're familiar with the Eureka curriculum. We adopted it at the middle school, I think 3 years ago now. And so now Mr. Cleary is going to present on the adoption at the elementary level. So Mr. Cleary.
Perfect. Can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
All right. So a copy of this presentation, I know Mr. Leone, you had asked for permission to access this, so I changed the settings in the drive, so anybody who needs to access it is more than welcome to. As Dr. Malone had said, the purpose of this is ultimately to adopt Eureka Math for K to 5 and to really make a continuum of our mathematic curricular materials from grades K to 8. I'll speak a little bit more in detail relative to the connection between the elementary schools and the middle school as we move forward. Mike, if you could go to the next slide. As a reminder, with elements like these, when we consider our curriculum adoption, we always try to keep in mind our vision and mission. And ultimately, in the first line of our vision statement is a key component, inspiring every student to reach academic excellence. And so a portion of that is dedicated to the curricular materials that we use to help support the development of that academic excellence in our students. Mike, the next slide. Which is also aligned with our mission, providing a high quality education in a safe and respectful and inclusive environment where every student develops the skills, character, and core values that they need to graduate and become productive members of global society. So with that, with the introduction of, in this particular case, mathematic curriculum materials, this is a huge piece to be successful in global society now. You know, the 3 R's that everybody always talks about of reading, writing, and arithmetic, those have not disappeared in our society, even though a lot of people kind of seem to think that they have, with calculators being existing on people's smartphones and your ability to ask Siri to solve anything for you. You still have to have a lot of problem solving and number sense, and a lot of that goes along with people's productivity. Mike, next slide, please. So when we consider curriculum materials for adoption, we take into account a series of different pieces of information, such as data analysis from testing data, from survey data, from observations of classrooms, feedback from teachers, and we also speak to a number of other school districts nearby or even a little bit further away that might give us a little bit of insight into the implementation of some of the materials that are being used and how successful they are. We consult the research base, and we also engage in some form of pilot. And so for this particular, we had piloted Eureka Math in our elementary grades. In grades 2, 3, 4, and 5, we had one teacher at each grade level participated in a pilot. And each of those teachers went through a training from the company the summer before to implement. And then we held periodic meetings throughout the school year for discussing curricular materials that they were using, changes that needed to be made, working with our elementary math coach, Mrs. Deb Flagg. And she had gone through a similar transition when she was a middle school teacher, because that's when we adopted Eureka, was when Ms. Flagg was in the middle school. So she had some familiar experiences with this as well. So the insight from those teachers, as well as our math coach, was very helpful in this process. So we can go to the next slide, Mike. When we look at our MCAS information, or just to share one piece, we noticed that our trend line over the past 3 years in terms of our mathematics performance has remained reasonably flat. We've moved a number of our students into the meeting and exceeding categories, but when you look at the percentages that fall on each side of that midpoint, we still tend to be in this area of approximately 50% of our students kind of in the partially meeting. We're moving students in the right direction, and we're still, when we look at some of our analysis, we tend to see, as we've shared in some of our MCAS presentations in the past, that we always had work to do, and we continue to have work to do. And one of the things that we looked at was our curriculum materials and our content that was provided. Mike, if you could go to the next slide. And so some of the things that we noticed about our mathematics program that we had is the curriculum materials that we're using were from Envisions Mathematics, which was copyrighted in 2011. Now, I know that a lot of folks think that math is still math, and that is true. 2 + 2 still equals 4, and that hasn't changed. The standards, however, the mathematical standards have changed, and the Massachusetts frameworks have gone through several updates. Most recently, the one was updated in 2017. And so in addition to these materials being a little bit behind kind of where Common Core was and when the state adopted new frameworks, these materials are no longer available. This particular version is no longer available in print or online. We had online access for 1 more year, that was this year. And so as part of this, we did a little bit of this analysis beforehand. We had also looked at our students who are transitioning from grade 5 to grade 6. And in particular, we noticed that some of our students were struggling with some of the vocabulary and some of the models of mathematics as they moved from grade 5 to grade 6. That we attributed to the difference in our math programs, the curriculum materials that we were using, because we were going from one math program to another, from Envisions to Eureka at the middle grades. 4 years ago, we did adopt Eureka at the middle school. That was largely in response to the MCAS performance that our students had experienced was on a decline at the middle school. And so the intention at that time was to adopt, because a number of site visits were done and a curricular team was organized from elementary all the way through the middle grades. And the intention was to adopt that at K-8 at that time. Unfortunately, at that time, we were also looking at our literacy program. And for our elementary teachers, you may recall that our elementary teachers are largely generalists. They teach a number of different subjects. And so going through a change of literacy curriculum and a math curriculum at the same time would be a lot to undertake for an elementary school district, for an elementary school teacher. And in addition, we also noticed that we had, when we surveyed a number of our teachers in terms of their use of materials, we noticed that in our elementary grades, there was a lot of supplementing going on. We were using a lot of different materials for fluency to help students kind of work on their mathematical practice skills. There was a lot of supplementation taking place for extension activities, enrichment activities, differentiating to meet the needs of students, and assessments were largely supplemented as well from a number of different programs. And we also noticed with some of the alignment with the Envisions Maths, given its copyright date of 2011, wasn't really aligned with the Common Core at the time, and not aligned with the Mass Framework of 2017, is that there are places that we had to make some tweaks and some changes. And overall, that affected kind of the overall rigor of the program, connecting that program to the middle grades program. Next slide, please, Mike. So when we look at Eureka, just to recap a few pieces, Eureka focuses a little bit more on the why. And most people may remember from their schooling, I know that I remember it from mine, is when you were taught math in the early grades, you were taught a lot of the algorithms of math. You were taught that you carry the one, and you were taught that you cross out numbers and borrow from the number next to those. And while those algorithms are efficient, they don't teach students kind of the understanding that they need in order to make sense of those mathematical concepts, deeper mathematical concepts about place value and overall size of numbers when they go into upper grades, middle grades, and high school, and in the world of work. And so Eureka tends to focus on the why. And so this process is a little bit different, and students need to learn some of the vocabulary and the models that goes with that. And so what we're finding, as I shared before, that students struggled in that transition period when they went from grade 5 to grade 6. And as you may recall, our high school mathematics program is an integrated math program as well. So all of those programs themselves, our secondary math programs, needed a stronger foundation to be a little bit more supportive for our kids. Mike, if you can go to the next slide. So one of the pieces that we look at when we look at a research base is we look at, and the link is live on the slide, like you don't have to open it so folks can look at it themselves, but I took a screenshot, or two in fact, and kind of lumped these together. Green is good. And so Ed Reports is a nonprofit organization that's responsible for, it's a collection of teachers and other research professionals in the field of education. And they look at curricular materials that are published. And it tends to be a site that folks look at to see how effective curricular materials are rated. And you'll notice that Eureka has green values across the board. So in terms of, if I just look at the kindergarten one, which is highlighted in blue at the top, it focuses on 3 different categories: focus and coherence, and the highest score that you can get is a 14, it earns a 14. The rigor and mathematical practices, which we're trying to focus on in terms of teaching the why of mathematics, it gets a 16 out of 18, which put it in the meeting expectations category. And then finally, the usability area was a 33 out of 38, and that also meets expectations. When we compare these to some of the other materials that are out there, Eureka is very highly rated and very highly regarded across the country, and also very highly rated across some of our local communities that use this mathematics curriculum. And in simple terms, it is the same program that we're using in our middle grades. So it makes sense to have our students learn the vocabulary and the approaches that they take in the earlier grades to kind of build that mathematical understanding that we want for them as they proceed through the system.
Charlie, has this been re-rated? That was rated in 13, 14. Has Ed Reports re-rated it more recently?
No, they have not. Because Eureka was written right at the time when Common Core had come out. Okay. And so at the time when it was rated, the pieces have not changed. So it is very well aligned with the curricular frameworks from Common Core, which is also very well aligned with the Massachusetts frameworks, even with the variations that took place in 2017.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And so, as I shared before, there are some vocabulary pieces that that Eureka tends to use, and they use some modeling concepts that kids need to be exposed through. And these are spiraled throughout the curriculum, not only in just one grade, but in multiple grades. So these basic foundational models that kids will use will resurface and serve as tools for them as they move forward into each of the upper grades. The numbers may get more complex. The models may get a little bit more complex. The problems may get a little more complex, but the simplicity of learning the models in the earlier age and repeated practice with those builds these abilities for kids to make their own mental models and figure out how the mathematics actually works. Next slide. And in general, with the Eureka materials, they, as you may recall from the middle school purchase, the textbooks are actually paper books. And so they come in 3 different sets. There's the Learn book, which is ultimately serves as the classroom book. The practice books is more the fluency activities that take place during class. And the Succeed book is the book that goes home with the students. And that's the one where the homework assignments are. All of these materials are also accessible online for teachers and students. And that makes the program a little bit easier to work with. It's not a giant textbook that students are working with. The books are easier for kids to kind of work out of at an elementary level. It tends to be very successful. Next slide. And so when we look at kind of our estimated costs for the next school year in purchasing these, the student materials will, again, these are estimated because we're working on some of the final numbers. Our student materials we expect to be around $35,000. The teacher materials to support those, so teacher copies of the same books and the teacher guides will be about $5,000. Manipulatives we're estimating is approximately $5,000 because we have a number of manipulatives that already exist in the district. So we're tallying which other ones we would need to purchase, and we're estimating what that cost would be. The digital access to this for all of our teachers, including special educators at K-5, would be approximately $10,000, which gives us a total estimated cost of $55,000. So this is ultimately what we're asking this evening for the school committee to approve in terms of the purchase for the curriculum materials. But before doing so, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask or commentary that you'd like to share, I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
So there's an online piece. I get the workbooks is also an online piece. Is there an expectation that students have to be able to connect online to access the materials, or is the online the same as the books?
The online is the same as the books.
Okay.
Good question though.
When you bring a new program like this in, is there a time period that, I mean, clearly all the teachers can do the math needed in the K-5, I'm sure, but is there like a familiarity session that works out with teaching and how you introduce this?
Yes, a big portion of this, whenever you shift to a new curriculum program, regardless of what it is, you want to provide professional development to support it. So much like we did with our literacy adoption, we partnered with Leslie University because they're a very strong PD provider. And so we've been working with Leslie University Center for Advanced Mathematical Achievement for the past several years with our middle school with implementation of Eureka. And so we're looking to extend that to support our teachers in elementary as well as they implement this going into the future. So there is some expectation because the organization of the program and the instructional practices and some of the ways that the math is done is a little different and may not be as familiar as people are used to in kind of the structure that they've used before and envisioned.
All right, I have a few questions.
Sure.
So I did look at it when I got it earlier.
Yeah.
And so my first question is how do the middle school teachers feel about the program?
Very good question. We had surveyed the middle school teachers at the middle of the last school year, so 2018-19, to ask them about their impressions of Eureka. And the impressions were largely positive. They felt that the program was pretty strong. They felt the same as most teachers do about any curricular program, that there's always places where you have to supplement and make changes. And we kind of knew that going into this. What we found in terms of feedback from them more specifically was that they also noticed that students tended to struggle with jumping into this program in 6th grade. And so that bears out, some of the information that we see in our data too, is that we tend to see that our sixth graders, if I look at our MCAS scores between sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade, you tend to see that our sixth grade scores tend to dip just a little bit because students are still trying to actually understand some of the vernacular of the mathematics program and the approaches that are taken. And by the time they reach eighth grade, they're very familiar with it. So it does take some time. And so the teachers were very clear about that, sharing that with us. And we noticed that that was a bit of a challenge that we discovered. But we found the feedback from the teachers was that largely the problems that Eureka provides and the approach that they take is very strong for kind of engaging and getting kids to conduct kind of deep thinking about problem solving, which I think is really what we're trying to create in our students.
Do they feel that?
I'm sorry, Joe, you froze there for a sec.
While Joe's trying to connect to his audio, I'm just going to add a couple of things to his question about the teachers at the middle school. The teachers at the middle school, the math teachers, have been requesting that we adopt Eureka in the elementary now for quite a few years. But as the committee is well aware, this really completes our curricular adoption cycle in all of the content areas of the district. Over the last 6 years, we've replaced, we bought new science materials, K-8. We have a new literacy program, K-8. We have the Eureka Math 6-8. We have new social studies resources. And of course, at the high school, it's a little bit different. And we've purchased new AP books and so on. So this district is in really strong curricular resource position. And it was always the intent to bring the Eureka program to the elementary school. But then when we brought the literacy program in, as Mr. Cleary stated, we didn't want to ask the teachers to Mr. Quinty's point, to provide them all this professional development and new adoptions of curricular resources. And that's why the Envisions program actually has, they have a 2020 edition and they have an online edition. And you saw our edition is 2011. Because we knew that long-term plan and vision was to go to the Eureka Math in elementary, which is why we didn't do any replacement. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if Mr. Leone's back with his audio.
Am I here? Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes.
So I had, the first question I asked was, are there sufficient materials for the teachers to differentiate, or do they need to look for other stuff themselves?
There are sufficient materials for differentiation because the structure of the program is really well aligned to curricular standards. And so the way that the lessons are scaffolded is that it provides opportunities for a strong conceptual understanding of the mathematics and then opportunities for extension. So the problem sets are organized in a way that actually goes from less complex to more complex problem sets, and it allows them to differentiate the structure of the actual lesson module itself when students are engaging in the lesson, lends itself to small group instruction, lends itself to the use of manipulatives, and so that gives the opportunity for students to kind of learn a little bit differently and teachers to structure the class a little bit differently.
Okay, and then the last question I have is, have the high school teachers, because some of those kids have transitioned into the high school now, have the high school teachers noticed a difference in the incoming freshmen with this program over the past programs?
That's a very good question. Anecdotally, conversations I've had with some of our ninth grade teachers, the feedback has been positive for some of our classes. For some others, there have been some challenges. And so those are some things that we continue to have a conversation about, and we don't necessarily, I don't have a definitive answer to share with you that answers your question at this time, but it is something that we continue to look at. We don't believe that it has to do with the instructional program itself, but continuity from K to 8 would be really, really helpful. We keep hearing that theme over and over again from our any grade above that says it would be great if the kids had this understanding before they came in. And so with the way that our mathematics is integrated, we integrate in high school terms, we integrate algebra, geometry, and algebra 2 into kind of integrated math 1, 2, and 3. And so the way that students learn that mathematics is very similar to the way that the math is integrated in 6 through 8, as well as through K through 5. And so the more that we have this systemic way of teaching the mathematics, we expect that we'll have stronger positive results as we go into 9th and 10th grade.
Okay, all that said, I would be very supportive of this program. Continuity is important, and knowing the why is even more important. I think this program looks like an excellent program for our elementary school kids.
Thank you, Mr. Leone. Mrs. Granger, I don't know if there are any other questions from
I was
folks.
just going to ask, any other comments
sure.
or questions for Mr. Cleary?
Am I on finally?
Yep.
So this is the estimated startup cost of $55,000 for next year. What's the continuing cost on these things? Do we have a annual license that we have to buy? And of these materials, which of them are not reusable or which of them are reusable? So what's the continuing cost of running this K through 5? Just curious.
So the teacher materials and the manipulatives are fixed costs. That is we're just doing that. They're a one-time purchase. We don't have to incur that expense any longer unless we have replacements for manipulatives that we may lose or to that effect. The digital access is a yearly subscription. The student materials are technically consumables, but the reality is, as we learned from our pilot teachers as well as our middle school teachers, is that we have not had to replace the consumables because a lot of teachers have preferred to use the online version and then print those materials for teachers to use. But what we found in speaking to a lot of the other school districts who have implemented Eureka, that it's really helpful to make sure that all the teachers and all the students have their own book in the first year. And we wanted to make sure that that was a reality and get teachers comfortable in the program. We also learned that from our pilot teachers too, because some of our materials didn't come in quite at the time that we wanted to, or we didn't have enough of some particular modules. So some of our younger grade teachers were trying to figure out how to rip pages out of books and share stuff with kids, and it didn't quite work as effectively as we wanted it to. So in the first year, the expectation is that all students are going to have a consumable text, and then we'll evaluate that decision as we move forward.
And I would add that the student text, Joyce, is really worksheets, homework worksheets.
Right. No, I knew it was. I just wondered what portion of that.
Yeah, at the middle school, we stopped buying them. We really prefer that students keep math notebooks, and that's what they take home with the handout from the teacher or the online piece, so that the teachers have that students have their notes to refer to do the math. Because a lot of times that we found in the middle school, they were home and the parents couldn't help, and there were no resources for the students to use. So that's what the preference was at the middle school, and I think it's a good model.
So you just mentioned that some of the materials came in slowly or late or something, and looking at what's going on today with receiving things and shipping them, they're taking 2 or 3 times as long in the general world. And do you think we're going to have that problem come September?
Well, I hope not. This is part of the conversation that we've been having with the Great Minds representatives as well, trying to kind of finalize estimated costs and get quotes and so on. And shipping has been a big part of that. I think, so I think a significant piece is that because the materials that are online, because a lot of places don't have the same materials online as they do in print, the Great Minds publisher for Eureka does have that. And so the digital access piece is exactly the same versions of the teacher copies and the student copies and the access to the assessment. So all of it will be there. And in fact, our teachers have had access from a piloting standpoint. We managed to get, I think, 50 other digital licenses for our teachers because we were scheduled to do an introductory meeting for Eureka for our teachers back on March 19th, but that was right as the closure started. And so we actually arranged for all of our teachers to have digital access from that point moving forward through the end of the school year to preview the materials. And then we actually had our introduction to Eureka for our teachers was a few weeks back, actually, the end of May 18th. And, you know, we have a first PD scheduled or seminars set up for next week, June 8th and 9th. Virtual seminars with our teachers to make sure, because I believe and our teachers believe that it's very important to get exposed to the new curricular materials before the summer. That way people can explore them and take some time to kind of learn and play with them on their own. And then we can provide kind of some other remote professional development opportunities for folks over the summer.
And I know historically we've had resistance to new math programs from parents, and who knows where we're going to be and what we're going to be doing. But do we have a skeletal plan of what we're going to do to introduce these K through 5 parents to what's going on?
Yeah, we've been talking about that. I'm not going to say that we have a formal plan in place, but a lot of it in most districts who have gone to this implementation have used kind of the notion of math nights. When we have open houses, that's an opportunity to expose parents to some of the approaches that are taking place. There are also in Eureka, there are also some home guides that are provided that you can share with parents. We can post those on our website. Teachers can send them home. Teachers can share them on their own websites to give folks information. There's also plenty of videos online to support parents and to support students and to support teachers with the implementation of this. So the cool thing about Eureka is that the information is everywhere about this math program and the resources to support it.
And Joyce, to your point, we will hold a formal presentation for parents and introducing the new math program as well.
Because everything I hear from parents right now, they're so sick of being the teachers, they don't want to know anything else.
Yeah.
They have to beat them over the head to have them take
Well,
it.
it's important that you do that, any new curriculum adoption to host a parent meeting. So we will definitely do that. You know, when we have more information on what the year is going to look like and all of that, we'll get that scheduled. Not a problem. Yep.
Thank you.
Question, yeah. Okay.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Cleary? All right. Hearing that nobody does, I will entertain a motion to adopt the Eureka math program for grades K through 8.
Isn't it already adopted for the older ones? So we just need K through 5?
Yes, just K through 5.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. K through 5.
That's okay. I'll make a motion that we adopt the Eureka math program extension for K through 5 in coordination with the program that we have 5 through 8, 6 through 8, middle school.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All right. So Michelle, will you call the roll for a vote?
Mr. DeForge,
Aye.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone,
Aye.
Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you,
So,
everyone.
thank you, Mr. Cleary.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger.
We're excited to hear how this unfolds.
Yes, I'll be certain to report once we know what next year looks like. Absolutely.
All right. So we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Malone. Dr. Malone.
I think she's muted.
Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. And so my superintendent's comments, the first item is the district updates. And I'm going to provide you an update in the 2021 school year. Mike, if you could call up the superintendent's comments, I would appreciate it so I don't have to look to my left and to my right, please. They're in the drive. Thank you. And return to school advisory board. Earlier this morning, we had a conference call with the Commissioner of Education, Mr. Jeffrey Riley, and he provided us several updates. And most important is, of course, superintendents are awaiting guidance in the mandates on what the fall is going to look like, how are we going to reopen school. He has assured us we will receive the mandates and guidance on or around June 15th. So we're looking forward to that. He's also going to be sending out on Thursday additional guidance on our extended school year on summer learning. And we may be looking at some face-to-face sessions this summer, which the guidance is leaning towards that. And I would really like to do some model of that. You know, the commissioners use the word soft opening, and I think it would serve us well in this district if we can provide some summer learning face-to-face in accordance with the guidelines and restrictions by the DPH and the Commonwealth. So I'm really looking forward to that. So we're expecting that guidance on Thursday. He's also committed to sending us a list of PPE supplies that we need. I think I may have informed the committee earlier that we have been ordering gloves and we've ordered face coverings. We've been ordering some thermometers. So we think we are in good shape. You know, we'll see what the guidelines will be for that. So we're getting a little bit excited and anxious to begin planning for the next school year. It's been very hard for all of us, but you know, the words that we use during this time is flexibility, adaptability, and patience. And you know, I will always heed the teachers to understand that things can change, and that's what we've learned through this pandemic. The return to the school advisory board will have our first meeting Thursday. We have about 40 members in our 5 functional categories or committees that I showed you last meeting. Really excited about the response from our teachers. Many teachers are serving on we have teaching and learning committee, we have operations in facilities, we have special education, we have English as a second language, and what is the 5th one? Maybe that's it. English, student support. I'm sorry, student support services. So really excited about having an orientation on Thursday. It'll be, you know, some introductions, and I will describe the structure of how we'll meet and so on and so forth. Because again, I don't feel, you know, I'll give them some information that I received from the commissioner, but I don't want to be having people plan for things that may not come to fruition and wasting people's time. We want to know what the plan is. We want to know what the mandates and guidelines on, and then we're going to think, we're going to plan, and then of course we'll have to bring the plan to all of the other teachers and of course our parents. So they have I think a solid structure and plan for this. We're also going to be sending out next Monday teacher and parent surveys. We want to get feedback, particularly from our parents on this remote learning period. You know, if we do have to have any kind of hybrid model with remote learning, we certainly want to know what we were really good at, what our strengths have been, and where we need to improve. And we're also going to send those out to teachers to get their input and feedback in the remote learning period, the support that we've provided them, the resources and such, to again bring this these surveys, this data back to the school advisory boards to inform our plan for the next school year. Underneath that are the STAR assessments. Many of our parents and probably have received the notification that we are going to have the students take the STAR assessment. That is a computer-based assessment that our students have been taking in the district for quite a few years. We administer that 3 times per year, fall, March, and June. So the students did take the March assessment in reading and mathematics, and we are going to have students take it remotely. Tomorrow, I think, is reading, and then on Thursday is mathematics. We held a training for our families last night, and we had over 100, I think it was about 120 families that joined in and had some excellent questions. And the teachers will be available on the window from 9 to 11 to provide any technical support. And we've also posted, in addition to the asynchronous tutorial, we developed a letter for the parents to access in case they have any trouble, and that letter is posted front and center on the website along with the recording from last night's meeting. The update on the extended school year and summer learning I've touched upon, you know, my other piece that we might be doing some face-to-face, and I will continue to update the committee as we get further guidance and we start doing our planning. 20 to 21 preschool and kindergarten school registration. For our viewers that will be listening to this, we really need our families to register now for preschool and kindergarten. Our enrollment is lower than expected at this time, and we know it's due to the pandemic and people having access to interact with people in the school systems and the offices. We did place an ad in the Lowell Sun and the Neshoba Valley Voice. Air Shirley Tracker will publish an ad on Friday, June 5th for us. And I just want families to know that they may visit ASRSD.org for registration materials and instructions, or if they prefer, they may call 978-772-8600, extension 508, and we will return their call promptly to support their registration process. This next piece is long. I won't read it word for word, but this is titled The Mass Model 3.0, a framework for comprehensive school counseling programs. So last year, we spent a lot of time in the prior summer providing professional development to our school counselors to implement a school counseling program. Basically, it's a program that is aligned to standards, social emotional learning, and our counselors go into the classrooms on a cycle and present lessons to our students on different topics. And so Cynthia Assalonius, one of our school counselors, she joined the Mass Model Writing team along with other school counseling practitioners, and she is one of the presenters. They have the MASC annual conference, and Cynthia will be one of the presenters. So I wanted to share that with you. We're very proud that Cynthia is part of this team and will be presenting to all of the counselors in the state, and it draws people from, I think it's in Boston this year, isn't that correct, Mr. Cleary? And it draws people from all over the country.
Yeah, it was originally slated to be in Newton,
Yeah.
and then they had postponed it at least temporarily. So now they're doing a virtual conference, I think, over the next couple of days.
Yeah. So you can read the more detail, but very pleased to have someone from my district be on, a writing curriculum team for school counseling programs. So could you scroll down, Mr. Tebow, please? Okay, this picture, the School Reform Initiative, I don't know if you recall, but I partnered with the Parker Charter with the principal, and his name is vacated me right now. Isn't that terrible? Todd. And so we wrote a grant together, and we had to go to DESE. I don't know if you recall me talking about it a long time ago. And the Parker Charter School is a very strong advisory program, and so that was the area that we wanted to strengthen for our district in partnering with the Parker Charter School. So we had Mr. Sumner and I had to go and present to the Department of Education, and they approved our grant. So anyhow, part of what the educators did in our district, along with those at the Parker Charter, is they attended the School Reform Initiative program. They went to do different states. They've gone 2 years. But what I'm showing you here is, if you click on the link, just 1 second, please, Mr. Tebow. And these are 3 educators in our district, and they are featured. Can you click on that link? So this is the newsletter, if you will, from SRA, which is a School Reform Initiative. It's this whole system of working with students, but our 3 teachers made their front cover. So you have Mr. Sabuler at the middle school, and you have Mrs. Baker from the high school, and Miss Philibrown from the high school. So we thought that was pretty cool. We wanted to show it to you. Yeah, so and those teachers that trained went down. So Mrs. Dautel, her married name is Dautel now, but they went and they trained, and so they've been leaders. Miss Philibrown and Miss Dautel have been leaders at the high school in the advisory that we have at the high school now. So they came back, and it was, train the trainer model, and so we're really proud of that program. All right, Mr. Tebow, back to my comments, please. Summer and Shirley, just want to make a public announcement that they did close the summer, unfortunately. Oh, and STEM camp, we're going to put together for our website for parents access any summer enrichment opportunities that we learn about that parents may be interested in sending their children to. STEM camp is one of those opportunities, and we've sent it out in a Blackboard notification to our families that they're holding their summer camp. It will be virtual for students entering grades 2 to 4. So hopefully parents receive that, and if they're interested, they will register as soon as June 19th date. Paraprofessional LEW, and she's retiring after 22 years of service. She was a kindergarten paraprofessional. Scroll down, please. I already announced the Dawn Parker Award recipients, so congratulate those students. And I'm going to feature myself as Hero of the Week. So I was featured as Hero of the Week in the ASRSD Tracker. It was published last Friday. It's a weekly publication. I had received an email and notification that I had been nominated. And so I was very proud and very flattered to be nominated by Mrs. Akey over at the middle school. It is in the article that she did nominate me for this. And so I was very flattered to be nominated by a peer and someone I've worked with for 6 years. So I just thought
we have to say hip, hip, hooray.
Yeah,
Everybody
congratulations.
ready? Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray.
It was, I got the email. It was on a Sunday night. That's, not this past Sunday, I guess a week ago. And I got the email and I just read it. And at first I was, and of course they had several questions that I need to answer. So anyhow, so it was a good moment for me, particularly during this pandemic and all of the other things that have been going on. And then lastly, college.
You get to wear a cape now?
Sorry?
You get to wear a cape now that you're the hero?
Yeah, Hero of the Week.
Cool,
I
it'd be
know.
cool.
Oh, believe me, I reminded all my family members just how special I am.
There you go.
It's in
Just
writing.
you don't wear a cape though. Capes are bad. You want to wear like a crown is fine.
I was going to say a crown.
A mask.
Capes get caught in things that, if you ever watch The Incredibles, you don't want to wear a cape.
Well,
A nice tiara.
yeah. Well, as I stated, I'm among many heroes in the district, and that's never been more prevalent during this pandemic. So it's nice to be around other people that are heroes as well. And I appreciate all the work of our families and our teachers and students, and it's just been amazing. Okay, college acceptances. We have Auburn University, we have Bryant University, Clark University, Franklin Pierce University, Stonehill College, and I think is at the end, Mike, because I can't. Howard University, and then the Wentworth Institute of Technology. So as you can see from the list, we've had some excellent college acceptances this year.
Do we have any idea how many of them are going to be open in September?
No, I don't have that ability to predict. Although we might have more, fortune telling might become a career because
they were all taking money now. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and I was going to say,
they're all accepting money.
They got to have money first.
as disappointed as our seniors were to lose the end of their senior year, I think they'll be more disappointed if they can't get on campus in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, after talking with the commissioner, I highly respect our commissioner. I've known Mr. Riley for a number of years when he worked in Boston, and then he came to, so I've known him a long time, and he's a very compassionate leader. He is very committed to equity and equality, and he wants to close gaps. And he hopes that we can open school. But of course, as long as we see the numbers decreasing like they are in Massachusetts, that's all good news for us, right?
Yes.
It is. Thank God the deaths have significantly decreased in the cases that we're seeing, and I guess we all could look to the evidence and say, well, what we did, what we've been doing is working. So, and that's what we want to see. So, thank you, and that completes my report this evening.
Thank you, Hero of the Week. All right, so we'll move on to our ongoing business. We've already done item A, the dedication of the media center. So we'll move to item B, which is the approval of the transfer to the Regional Transportation Reserve Fund. Mr. Plunkett.
Thank you, Mrs. Granger. In the school committee packets, 11C1 is the memo as titled Regional Transportation Reimbursement Fund Deposit and Proposed Recertification of the FY21 budget. So there are 2 votes that are needed, and I'm going to go through the memo to explain why. So last meeting I told everyone that we would take a look at the special education transportation expenditures to see if we were going to have any additional funds that we could add to the RTR deposit this year for FY20. Unfortunately, they are offering a slight discount of 22%, but we are not going to have any additional funds available through the special ed transportation to add. So the transfer amount that we will be seeking tonight is $149,035 from our regional transportation reimbursement funds that we receive from the state, and they will be deposited into a revolving fund that's been approved that we can use in our subsequent or our FY21 budget as a revenue source. Down to the second paragraph states that this will be used as a general fund revenue stream in FY21 and will decrease the transportation budget amount needed in the general fund. We'd like to use the decrease needed in the transportation budget to offset contract salary increases we are expecting as a result of the new union negotiations with the 4 ASME units, custodial, clerical, food services, and paraprofessionals. So that's one vote is the deposit. The second piece is the recertification of the FY21 budget, because we are adding the RTR funds as a revenue stream. That's going to increase our budget. In addition to the RTR funding, we are proposing a transfer of $34,000 from the district curriculum textbook line to the district salary line for contract increases. This transfer has no net effect on the budget, as it's just a line-to-line transfer of expenditures within the general fund, and brings a total of $183,035 in additional funding to the salary line. As a result of the increase for salaries and the use of the RTR funding, there's an increase of $149,035 to the total budget, but no change in the assessment to the member towns. The total FY21 budget to be recertified is $32,943,331. And the document labeled 11C2 is a PDF of the FY21 proposed budget with the changes in them. And I do want to bring your attention to item 11C3, which is a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, which is for the development of a 1/12 budget. If we do not have a budget as of June 30th, looks like we're scheduled to have Shirley on June 29th, so we'll just make it. But if we do not have a budget as of June 30th, if the towns can't vote and approve the local budget, then the Department of Ed will determine our 1/12 budget for FY21. And this is the document that we prepared for them, and it shows our FY20 budget and our FY21 proposed budget, so they can use this in developing the budget that they're going to calculate. It shows the assessments and the breakdown of revenues from the state, and this, hopefully we will not have to use this, but if they do, if the Department of Ed does develop our 112 budget, it will be due on the day that it is normally due from the language in the regional agreement, which is the 5th of every month, and it would be apportioned as per the regional agreement. It's a statutory method, which means that the state sets the RLC if that changes, and then anything above RLC is apportioned according to the regional agreement, and transportation and debt are also apportioned as per the regional agreement. So that's what's going to happen if the Department of Ed does have to step in and calculate our budget. If they're passed by both towns, and then we'll have a local budget, and we'll just move forward with the assessment amounts as we have.
Can I just make a clarification, Mr. Plunkett? So the other piece about the 112 budget is the state doesn't anticipate having a budget. And that is the other piece that, due to the pandemic and the impact, financial impact, they're not sure that they're going to, basically they're saying, I think Bill and I talked about this before, that the governor's budget is basically out of play, if you will. And so, the state, they don't anticipate that they're going to have a budget ready for the fiscal start of July 1, and it would be the reason as well for this 112 budget. So the Department of Education has requested this data that Bill prepared, and we submitted to them.
So we will need 2 votes. One is to transfer the $149,035 from the Regional Transportation and Reimbursement Funds to our RTR revolving fund. And then the second vote would be the recertification of the FY21 budget at $32,943,331.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Plunkett?
So are the towns now, are we just going to move forward with the budget as we voted, knowing that, the governor's budget is probably trash at this point, and Ways and Means is going to be way behind him? So, and it appears to me like we're already moving towards a 112 budget. Because I don't think, in any reasonable time period, they're going to get to anywhere with that kind of numbers they're looking at on the amount of money they just borrowed in the last 10 weeks, that the original 70 funding is going to be close to where it was, especially since they were trying to redo the ed reform stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been told to count, pretty much count on a 112 budget. But for us,
Right.
Bill, you can explain, to the full committee. So for us, it reverts back to what we had budgeted last year. Bill, would you want to explain further so that?
Yeah, it will be no less than the FY20 budget, the prior year's budget. And they will also take into consideration any large expenditures that we have scheduled for July, such as the Middlesex County retirement assessment, things like that, any debt payments. Our debt payment is deducted from our Chapter 70, so we're in a good position. We don't have to worry about that. But we do have that Middlesex payment, and a lot of folks have debt payments right off the bat. So the Department of Ed will calculate that into the assessment, into the budget.
And go ahead, Jim.
I'm just, I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm glad they didn't give us a big Chapter 70 adjustment, and I feel bad for some of the bigger cities that are going to really take the whack, as they probably plan to try to do some catch up with extra funding, and that rug's going to be pulled out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On the School Opportunity Act.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But the other thing is, so we have, there's all kinds of Zoom meetings and such, and there's been a lot of, while the Chapter 70 is going to be reduced by 10% and Chapter 70 is going to be reduced by 20%. And one of the finance, in his name at DESE, Jay Sullivan, he said quite clearly in a meeting the other day, he said, I have not heard that yet. I've only heard that from superintendents. Yeah. And so that resonated with me because, if there's a reduction in Chapter 70, obviously you want to know. So he was quite clear about that, but he did say, to your point, Jim, that the House Ways and Means are just taking this up now, and we're just not going to have a budget from the state. State's not going to have a budget June 30th, July 1. So,
well, obviously, state revenues are down, way down, and the state expenditures in other areas is definitely increased. So I think it's going to be interesting to see, because sales tax and everything that is one of your big components of your state income is way down. Mm-hmm. So, where's it going to go?
Right. And I think we're going to feel a greater impact in FY22. Mm-hmm. I think the school district, Bill and I doing our analysis, I think FY21 we're going to be okay, but I also want to approach FY21 and being really conservative in spending, so that we do, particularly, we do have keep our E&D in case we need to go to that. Because we just, I think the impact for us is going to, in most districts, will be FY22 more so, but that's just me alone.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other questions or comments? If not, I will entertain a motion. It looks like there's two different motions, one for the approval of the transfer and one for the approval of the amended fiscal year 21 budget.
Could the screen go back to those numbers so that we have them straight?
Yeah, back to the memo, Bill. Excuse me, Mike.
11C1. Yeah. In the packet.
Yes, thank you.
Mr. T-Bow's earning his dinner.
Speaking of which.
Yes, exactly.
I was going to say, it might be a midnight snack.
Yeah, speaking of which. All right, there you go.
All right, so I'll make the motion that we transfer $149,035 from regional transportation reimbursement funds into the RTR fund. Is that correct, Bill? Did I say that right?
Yes, correct.
I'll second that.
All right, so moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All right, we'll take a vote by roll call. Michelle?
Mr. DeForge?
Aye.
Mrs. Granger?
Aye.
Mr. Leone?
Aye.
Mr. Quinty?
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And then a motion for the amended budget.
So I'll make a motion that we recertify our fiscal 21 budget in the amount of $32,943,331.
Don't we have to do the transfer also?
The line to line, no.
Okay. Thank you. I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor by roll call. Michelle?
Mr. DeForge?
Aye.
Mrs. Granger?
Aye.
Mr. Leone?
Aye.
Mr. Quinty?
Aye.
Mrs. Reshoots?
Aye.
Mrs. Simmons?
Aye.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Plunkett.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the subcommittee report. We have policy IKF, graduation requirements for first read. Mr. Quinty.
Right. So you can see that from the original document that we've, I want to bring that up. We basically scrap what was in the initial one. And what we're trying to avoid is a situation that we had this year where it took school committee action to make adjustments to what was in our own policy. Clearly, the people in the front line know who has met our graduation requirements and who has not met our graduation requirements. So part of it is philosophy and part of it is policy, but it basically puts the onus on meeting the graduation requirements on the high school principal and his review with the student counseling. And annually in January, he will give a report, a status progress summary to the superintendent, so things are monitored. But the final decisions on individual student situations will be made by the people who knew the students best and not the committee members.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any comments or questions?
Aren't these credit things, aren't they kind of like state requirements?
I'm
We don't
talking
really have a choice on any of this stuff, right?
No, well, I'm not speaking to the credit requirements. I'm talking about the only changes that were made were to the community service requirement.
What's that change?
Some updating in the first paragraph. If you scroll down to the bottom, community service requirement part of this, Mike. Yeah, right there. See, that was eliminated, and I think in the back page it shows what we have. Yeah. So you can see what's been eliminated and what's been added. Do you want me to read it into the record, or you can all see that fine?
And we're good. No, I like it. Thank you, Jim, for your work on this. I like that we sort of move the hours out per year, right? 50 hours is 50 hours. How you get it done is, you know, that's up to the student, and great.
In the school, it sounds like, excuse me, it sounds like the school will have a new process for how they're going to handle that with the students, and that's completely up to the school, I think, to handle that.
Right, and a part of that came from some observations that Mary had, I guess, in one of her prior lives before she was a hero and she was on the front line. But particular accommodations that had to be made for people, because a lot of our students are in extreme circumstances, and clearly the principals and the counselors are aware of those. So if the spirit of the law is met and they feel that the student deserves a diploma from the school, I certainly would not be one to enter into that fray.
Can I ask a question about it? Mike, if you could scroll down a little, please. So under the summary of the service requirement standard will be given to the superintendent by January 15 of each year. So would that summary be required for each class?
I would hope in whatever format the principal and the superintendent agree to allow them to track this, to make sure that the intent of the school committee is being met is fine with me. So whatever you think works best for you works best for us.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other comments or questions? All right, so
basically it's a 4-year requirement, and there's no intermediate things where a freshman has certainly a lot different approaches to life and maybe experiences than doing it all in their senior year.
well, Joyce, I think when Mr. Christie was at our last at the meeting, when he had come to us, that special meeting we had to waive the requirement, he had mentioned that the school was going to have a different process moving forward. So I think that the deletion of the hours per year or whatever is just taking it out of the policy, but the school will have a procedure for tracking. At least that was my understanding.
It'd be interesting just to hear what that is at some point.
Yeah, he I'm sure he would come back and tell us, but he seemed to have a pretty concrete plan.
Everybody has so much on their plate right now. It's secondary. But everybody has so much on their plate right now. It's secondary, but it would be interesting to know some.
Yeah, I definitely remember him talking about a concrete plan.
Joyce, are you requesting to know what that plan is?
I think it'd be interesting to know for the public, and therefore, and the best way to do that is through the school committee.
Sure.
You know, because
You know
then-
what, and how about, and we have one, our June meeting left, and how about I'll work with, Mr. Christie, and he'll bring that back to maybe your August meeting before the school year starts?
yeah, that'd be
That
good. To know how, and that gets it to the parents and the students and the public and the community.
Sure.
So.
If that's the will of the committee, no, not a problem.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, so then we'll bring this back for a second read.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Quinty.
Thank you.
All right, so item 13, chairman's notes. I don't have any. Are there any other topics for discussion not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance of this meeting?
Is does the decision to move away from Zoom meetings to meet in person lie with the district, or is that a phase 2 operation? If you take a look at the people who normally at committee, it's just the committee members with, maybe Mary and Bill and Charlie. Spacing is not really an issue, and we're televised at that point. Or is that a district decision or a state decision? Do you happen to know, Mary?
Well, Bill and I are working, on a plan to being, I think that, if it's the will of the committee to meet in person, we would, I think we have to wear masks, face coverings, excuse me, and, we have to be 6, feet social distancing. So I just don't know how well the face coverings would work, just yet, but that's up.
I'm not looking to move to it immediately. I just wondering, how's that decision going to be made?
Oh, well, I would,
about that.
I would think by August, if we see the data and the trending down of cases and such, that, would be probably, public meetings would be part of phase 3, and we could resume normal meetings. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, anyone else? Okay, I don't think we have any communications, do we? No. All right, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion to adjourn thing. My clock went off. I don't know what time it is. At 8:30.
8:27.
8:27. Thank you.
I'll second it.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor by roll call vote.
Mr. DeForge,
Aye.
Mrs. Granger,
Aye.
Mr. Leone, Mr. Quinty,
Aye.
There we go. Another pirate. Yes.
Mrs. Reshoots,
Can I bring my cat to the meetings? Because she's awful happy here playing on the computer.
I know.
Mrs. Simmons.
Aye.
All right, so I think we should do one more remote meeting at least, because then the cat can attend and we
The
can
cat
practice
did
our
attend. She just slept with the whole
pirate
thing.
voices. All right, so we are adjourned at 8:28. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Michelle, for the roll call every
Thank you,
time.
Michelle and Michelle.